Hello house lovers, we are here bright and early this morning at Bonnet Court House because we have the Asbestos Boys coming. A friend did point out to me that that sounds like a Greek stripping act, so the Asbestos Boys. I will report back. And what the Asbestos Boys are going to be doing is taking out asbestos from some of the back areas of the Schapelle Corby Memorial Courtyard and some of the flooring areas upstairs. But before we go inside, we need a quick segue outside. And look, ta-da, I finished digging out the garden. I realized that I have dug out 1,000 litres of soil. Whatever that might mean in tons, I don't know. But it was a crun lot, it was heavy work, but there we go. All for the sake of soil health. So I should be laying mulch and pea straw and chicken poo and God knows what else on that side now, so that all through winters the worms can work on it. Let's go and look at asbestos, shall we? This is the little apartment I was working in last week, and the panelling behind these tiles is asbestos, and these panels in this corner are asbestos, and the countertop, that's where a stove stood. Who knew? I really didn't realise that asbestos was used in so many different applications in the 60s and 70s. So, house-loving, house-restoring, house renovators, do be careful. It's really worth getting asbestos people through. They do a little test, they drill through and test, because some things just don't look like asbestos board, and I will show you what those things that don't look like now, and I would never have known. So for your own health and safety, do get someone to test everything first, I would say, if you're doing anything in a house that has got 60s or 70s or 80s panelling additions or renovations. Look at this glorious bathroom. Now this really is the Schapelle Corby Memorial Bathroom, because this could be in a Balinese women's prison, complete with the asbestos shelf. What is more interesting is you see these panels, these floral panels here. Now I would have just thought they were some kind of vinyl treatment, but no, they are all asbestos panels, because asbestos is actually a great product in many regards because it's waterproof, so it doesn't flex and bend, and it's obviously heat proof. Obviously terrible for yourself, your health and the environment, but anyway, it served its purpose, hence it was used everywhere. So all of the walls and the surrounds of all these showers are asbestos. So I am very excited that the Asbestos Boys are coming today. They won't be topless or in thongs. I think they'll be in full PPE to remove it all. So that's what's happening here today, house lovers. Asbestos removal 101. I'm not going to be here, so there's going to be no live footage, but you can imagine it's highly toxic and a highly specialized task. So do shop around and get professionals to come and do it. The moral of this story then is always get asbestos professionals in through before you start doing the work, and they can test every surface. So you just know what you can touch and what you can't touch, and when in the process to get the asbestos removed. But enough of toxic fibres known to the Romans. Let's go back to Erica last week. She is of Upmanus Green, a company of fantastic mid-century and 20th century design dealers here in Melbourne. And we were talking about how grown-ups of a certain age, when they come together, have to blend their styles, which is what the good doctor and I are going to be doing. So I asked her about some experience that she's had with other couples in the same boat. Now, do people ever come into the store and say, you know, people of our vintage or whatever who are moving in together for the same time and have this question about, well, X likes Y, I like Z?
Yes, they do. My advice is always, what do you love? What is your love?
Yes.
Go with that. And both of you acknowledge that the other person's love might be different, but if you love it, so that's got to be the first. So some people will come in and say they've got rid of everything. They've both starting their new lives, they're beginning again, which is really exciting.
Yes.
But most people will have things that are sentimental, that are their grandmothers or their, you know, there are a million reasons to love something. Not always because it's good design or in vogue, or if you have your grandmother's ugly cushion, but it was your grandmother's and it's important, it stays. It stays, and you make it work, and you can make anything work. Not everyone can make anything work, and some people do need help. But if you
Which is why God invented you.
That's right. But if you start with love, I don't just mean love of each other, I mean you know, I love this, please, I must keep this. And the other person must say, of course.
Yes.
Of course.
It becomes an exchange of generosity. It's interesting though, that point about inheritance. You mentioned grandmother's things. I'm not sure in our culture here in Australia that is something that happens that often. Do you think that people actually do pass on furniture?
Not in that majorly big way, in the way that it...
Not even small.
I think people do. I mean, I don't have it very much. I've got a couple of things that will probably come to me, but...
I was going to say, luckily, both parents living.
Yes, I will inherit a grandfather clock, and I do not know how that is going to fit in my life ever, but I know that it is incredibly important to my parents that grandfather clock stays in the family. Sometimes I lie awake at night and think, God, where will I put that bloody clock? I've always said that good design likes good design.
Yes.
Not that we would necessarily refer to that as design, but quality likes quality.
Yes. Talking of grandmothers, talking of clocks, talking of inheritance, I have my grandmother's wall clock. It's about that big. It's a pendulum clock, mass produced in the late 20s. I think it was a wedding present to my grandparents when they married, who are obviously both now long dead. My grandmother always loved that clock, and it was in her hallway. As a child, I remember it. Now it's mine. It's in my storage unit. Looking at our house, looking at the Good Doctor style and mine, I'm thinking, can I make that clock work? Because it's really not my style, and it's not the Doctor's style. It'll kind of work in the house somewhere, but I think...
The thing about your house is what you're going to have are different areas for different reasons, and that gives it you can always find a place there. Not everyone has that luxury to fit something like that in their family home where there are children and they need every corner of space to work, can be very difficult. But in your situation, of course, you will make it fabulous.
Hashtag blessed.
Isn't she fabulous? I could have sat there and chatted all day, and you can if you go and visit her at Smith Street Bazaar in Melbourne. It's like a therapy session. But isn't it wonderful that really everything, house lovers, comes down to love? But I hear the dulcet knocks of the Asbestos Boys come to show me their wares. So I will go and deal with that, house lovers. Next week I shall report on their updates and see if they uncovered anything. Who knows? Lurking behind those floral panels in the Schapelle Corby Memorial Courtyard. So until next week, house lovers, take care, enjoy yourselves. Melbourne is going through a second phase of lockdown. Infection rates have spiked here, which is unfortunate for lots of people. Luckily, our area is not in it, so I can still get about. But it might curtail some of the fabulousness I had planned. Never mind, first world problems. Health and safety is the most important thing, and on that note, take care, look after yourselves, and I'll see you next week.